Hey guys, Abel Ramos, Jackie Potter with Compass. We're going to be talking about the insurance crisis that we have in California. You may have seen one of our previous videos where we actually interviewed an insurance agent with Allstate, Derek Beeler, to talk about that when it all started. I think today we're going to dive a little bit into more of the headline about State Farm not renewing 72,000 people in our state and what that could look like for our market that has seen its fair share of fire hazards or flooding or mudslides, things that the insurance companies do not want to be affiliated with, and kind of what we think will happen in our market because of that.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned this has been happening over the last couple years. I remember Cheltenham, so 2022, right?
Yeah.
The conversation about insurance concerns was still really only in the high fire zones and in some of those flood zones. It wasn't everywhere. Fast forward to January of 2024, we struggled to find an insurance policy for a client that had a condo in the middle of Goleta. So I think this is a topic that is coming up on us quick. And it is something that is extremely important. And I don't think enough agents are really talking about it. I mean, even in that situation, trying to find a condo, we were reaching out to other agents who had sales recently in that community. And they all kind of said, we were hands out of the insurance situation. We let our clients figure it out. My client bought cash, so they're just not getting insurance, And I think if that is an option, it needs to be explained to you very thoroughly what you're signing yourself up for. And that's why I think it's important we talk about this. But I also think it's something that will impact the prices here. I know we kind of maybe don't see fully eye to eye on that, but I feel like if you're a seller selling in a high fire zone, you know that someone is not going to be able to get good insurance. Let's say you're over the $3 million for Fair Plan, right? So you have a $5 million really brand new property, great home, whatever, on a bunch of acres. You're going to be Fair Plan with wraparound, and you're still not going to get great insurance. It's going to be extremely expensive. Some people aren't going to want to buy into that. And if every buyer is seeing that same problem and a seller isn't able to sell because every buyer says insurance is an issue, well, then something's got to give. Someone's going to have to come down in their price to make up for the cost of the insurance.
Yeah, but then you factor in the fact that we're all in this situation of a supply gridlock. So 2 months of inventory in the Santa Barbara market, 2.2, whatever it was from March 24. Supply and demand, basic law of economics, right? And certain socioeconomics that are in our market with certain buyers, and some people can't afford to be self-insured. So I do believe what you're saying is an issue. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I don't know how much of an issue that'll actually be in our market, but I do think that this problem is a real one that could affect many existing homeowners and buyers down the road.
100%.
For sure, until this is all sorted out, which I think the days of us seeing $2,000, $3,000 a year annual premiums from State Farm or farmers is long gone. I don't think we'll see that ever again.
We're not seeing it ever again. No. I mean, people are, if they are getting insurance, it's tripling in some cases. The quote changes from when we enter escrow to when they close, and I think another good point to make is I was talking to someone about insurance last week, and he was like, it takes 25 days for us to even confirm your Fair Plan. So if
to get a bindable quote,
to get a final bindable quote. So if it's going to impact anything, it's going to impact days on market for sure, because we no longer can submit these really quick close. Hey, 10-day closing. It takes 25 days to even know if this is a legit quote, a bindable quote. So I do think it's going to impact 100% the due diligence side of things. And again, if you have homes that are really hard to insure, extremely expensive to insure, I think a seller is going to have to consider that. And for sure, going into that listing, we're having that conversation with sellers is, hey, one of the things that people are going to be up against is insurance, and I think it's silly to ignore that, and it's silly not to talk to buyers about which locations you're going to struggle to find insurance.
For sure. And can you afford the insurance?
Can you afford it? And what happens if they come back in a year and they do triple it? What does that look like? Because we can't control that. That is something we cannot control.
Right. No, I agree with you for sure. I think there will always be those buyers that can simply just
Self-insure.
ride it out and close in 10 days. And if they're quoted 30 grand,
Later on. And
say,
get
okay, cool.
insurance
Well,
later.
either A, I'm going to self-insure, which may not be the smartest unless you just have an endless amount of money, which you may have. Or you find out it's 30 grand a year and you can't afford it and you made a mistake in your due diligence. And I would hate to say you weren't advised appropriately, but maybe there's recourse there for you. I don't know. To be smarter, I think we might be seeing more contingencies, more insurance
I will
contingencies
do that for my
in an
client.
offer up to 25 days or whatever it is that you can
Yeah.
get the seller and their representation to agree to. But when representing a buyer, that may become something that you need to write in.
Yeah. And as a seller, you need to understand the
You have to be
timeline
able to
on
play.
that.
Yeah, you have to be able to play in the best interest for the best potential outcome for yourself as well. So I think you
Yeah.
have to be easygoing with that to understand that we are in an insurance crisis, hands down. We all have to navigate it together. The one thing we can't control are the prices.
Yeah.
And what we're seeing is people's premiums go from 5-6 grand to 12 to 16,
Right.
or some people go to 30.
Yeah. Which is why we have to have those conversations with people buying in that area, for our sellers who have purchased in those areas in the past, and just say, this is in your area. Please understand this. Please plan for this. Ask us questions. Let us help you figure out your situation. But keep this in mind, because again, nobody else can control, except for the big insurance companies, what they're about to charge you or if they'll even cover you. And I think another way to mitigate it, as I'm thinking, is doing some of those, fire safety changes and code things to your home if you're remodeling, or to your yard, really putting some of those things in action that make it look more appealing for an insurance company.
For sure. And even at that, even if you did those things, there's no guarantee that you're not going to get non-renewed.
Right. It's a better.
So sure, it's better, but there's no guarantee right now.
Sure.
I think ultimately what this could do, even in our market, so I am agreeing that this could change something. I don't think it's going to drop prices, but I think it could cause maybe some people that have been in their homes for 30 or 40 years that are on a fixed income,
Yeah.
which we do see,
Yeah.
You know,
Forced into that downsize.
forced into a situation where they maybe have to sell because your home's probably worth $2 million. You maybe paid 200 grand for it. It's paid off, but yet you're on a fixed
Thousands
income and your insurance gets, increased to $12,000 a year or $15,000, $20,000 a year. How does someone afford that if they were on a fixed income, Social Security, just
Or
whatever
just living
it was?
off of their savings and realizing they're paying for insurance over everything else in their life.
That could be a reason for someone to have to sell.
Yeah.
No doubt. Does it actually lower property values? I don't think so. Here,
We'll see.
to be told.
I think you have to give a little if you're not getting bites on your home.
For sure.
Think about some of those new construction in Montecito on the hill that are worth $7-8 million.
Well, let's just think
I
of the
know
one
that
that
those
sold
people
last,
could probably-
like you said, last month. The highest price sale was what, 39, we said?
Yeah, I think 30, 39 something.
They probably didn't have enough insurance coverage on that as
Right.
well. So, I mean, yes, as more non-admitted carriers are either exiting the market or maybe just not writing and accepting in the market, maybe.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Leave a comment, message us. Whose side are you on? It's going to be something that everyone needs to keep their eye on. I don't see a lot of people talking about it. I was pretty shocked to talk to agents that said they're just hands off of the whole situation.
I think this is a
It's
bigger
important.
deal. Let me say this right now. I think this is a bigger deal for the real estate market than the NAR
Than
settlement.
the commissions. That's, I guess, the point I'm getting at, is everyone thinks commissions is going to bring the price down. If anything, it's going to be that no one can get insurance for these homes.
That could be the bigger issue here in our market, in
Right.
the real estate industry than commissions. So let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Right?